Hey, it's ABCs of the Single Life, the letter Z. I am Prophetess Jennifer Walker, your host for today. Throughout this episode, this series has been awesome. I've really enjoyed myself. It's been an honor and privilege bringing this to you. But on today, we're going to talk about the letter Z. Want to encourage you to simply stay in your zone. Want to encourage you about living in your zone. What is a zone? It's an area, a particular part of land. It has a certain characteristic, purpose or use, even has certain restrictions. You know, when Daz Bryant throws up the X, sometimes we got to throw up the X in the single life. There's so many different things that we can go through and living in the single life. I know I have. That's what I've been sharing with you. And a lot of times I'm literally living these series as I'm doing them, these episodes. It's in real time sometimes. And sometimes I'm talking about things in retrospect, in hindsight. But sometimes I couldn't rush it. I couldn't rush it because I had to go through it. And you know what I'm saying? It's such a picture of what the single life is really like. Even my process in doing this series, I couldn't rush it. Sometimes like, hey, I don't film this ahead of time. I may be able to post and do this or do that. But you know what? Some things I just had to simply go through. Some things I would just pick up in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? As I'm thinking on it, as I'm meditating on it, it may be in something that I experienced in the previous week or that day, or something I had been meditating on and God just showed me something. Sometimes we cannot rush. As I was saying, the process, we got to stay in our zone. I had to stay in the zone. There wasn't always easy to do this series. It wasn't always easy. I had some hurt. I had some pains. I had some things where I stretched beyond measure. But I knew that I had a responsibility on every Tuesday was to post these episodes. I knew that this is something God had given me to do. And this is something I want to encourage you about in living in the zone. Hey, God is giving you a particular purpose. What is a purpose? Purpose is the reason why something was created. He's giving you a purpose for a particular use. It's for his use. 1 Corinthians 15:58 says, "Be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord." Why? Because your labor is not in vain. And sometimes you may feel like you're alone. Walking this single life for some may be lonely, especially when you're trying to do it the right way. You know what? But all you need to do is believe in you. I've had people that walk with me through certain areas of my single life that I know God assigned to me to mentor me, but they're no longer with me anymore. They're no longer in the earth. How about that? And that can be a hurt and a pain, and sometimes a discouragement. But you know what? Be encouraged today, because as long as you have God in your life, you're never alone. It's always great to have friends, and I encourage you and have encouraged you throughout this single life series. To link up with those that are like-minded, but it's going to come a time when it's just going to be you. You got to have a come to Jesus moment with yourself like, look, I'm going to do this thing the right way. Because you might feel like, man, nobody cares. Nobody's watching. Everybody's doing everything. But guess what? It does matter, and God does take it into account, and somebody else is watching as well. Your single life could be everything to somebody else. They may never tell you. Sometimes when you're encouraging people, someone will watch you from afar and never say a word. But you just never know. So I just want to encourage you. And you know what? Run your race. That's why I say stay in the zone, because someone looking at somebody else's life and thinking it's so wonderful. It's okay to be inspired. It's okay to admire. It's okay to desire. But you know what? It's something special about your life. And let God allow you to walk through this thing. You surrender to it, man. That's the only way I can make it through it is to own it, and I couldn't tell you I can share this unless I've done it, just be content in whatever state you're in, because guess what? There are some blessings walking through this thing the right way. God has a way of surprising you at the most inopportune, at the weirdest times. You never know what God is going to do for you. I tell you what, it's going to take tenacity. It's going to take you to live zestfully with passion passion. Without passion, you can't do anything. It's hard to live life without passion. You're simply just existing. But I want you to thrive, not just survive, but thrive. And you can in this single life. Run your race. Do what you, and we're talking about zones. Expand your territory of opportunity. Hey, the world is your oyster. You know what I'm saying? You can do this thing. I know that you can do it. I believe in you. And if you don't have anybody else to believe in you, like I said, you believe in you. This is your zone. This is your moment. This is your time. What's your name? Do you know your name? What's in your name? You may not feel like your name has any value to it, but there's something in your name. And if you carry the name of Christ, there's honor in that. There's worth in that. There's value in that. Bible says we have this hidden treasure in earthen vessels to prove that the excellency may be of God and not of us. So I want you to live in your zone. Go back through the series, get some more nuggets of inspiration. But it's been my honor and privilege to bring this series to you. ABCs of the Single Life. This is Prophetess Jennifer Walker, your Commander-in-Chief, signing off. To sign up at another time. God bless and God keep you is my prayer.